In the wild, danger does not always begin with teeth or claws. Sometimes, the greatest risk is simply being misunderstood. Across forests, oceans, wetlands, and grasslands, animals have evolved remarkable ways to say the same thing without words. I am not a threat. I come in peace. And sometimes, even more than that, I trust you. From ceremonial bows to soft greetings, from shared food to shifting colors, these gestures can look uncannily human. But in nature, they are something even more powerful. They are survival, connection, and social intelligence woven into behavior. Tonight, we are stepping into that hidden language, 10 astonishing ways wild animals show respect, affection, and peaceful intent. At number 10, the shoebill shows us that even one of the most prehistoric-looking birds alive can communicate calm with surprising elegance. Standing tall in the African marsh like a creature from another age, the shoebill sometimes lowers its head in a slow, deliberate bow that feels almost ceremonial. But this is not simple politeness. It is part of a broader display used in social interaction, territorial signaling, and even courtship. Often, the bow is followed by subtle head movement and the sharp, rattling sound of bill clattering. Together, these signals appear to say, "I see you, and I am not here to attack." Observers have even noticed that when humans mimic the behavior carefully, some shoebills respond in kind. It is not exactly affection in the human sense, but it does seem to express calm intent, tolerance, and a willingness to engage without conflict. At number 9, affection takes a stranger form, one that may seem awkward to us, but means everything in the social world of parrots. Among many parrot species, regurgitating food for another bird is not disgusting or random. It is a meaningful act of trust. In the wild, this behavior helps parents feed chicks, but it also strengthens the bond between mates. One bird offers food, the other accepts, and that exchange reinforces connection, dependence, and pair loyalty. In highly intelligent birds like parrots, cockatiels, and budgerigars, that kind of ritual matters. It says, "I care for you. I recognize you. I am invested in this bond." When pet parrots do the same thing toward people, it can even suggest strong attachment or redirected courtship behavior. Strange as it looks, this is one of nature's clearest reminders that tenderness does not always look the way humans expect it to. At number 8, the ocean delivers one of the most mysterious gestures on this list. Orcas, apex predators of extraordinary intelligence, have been documented approaching humans while carrying prey, then releasing it nearby as if offering a gift. Fish, birds, even other marine animals have appeared in these encounters. No one can say for certain what the whales intend. Curiosity may play a role. Social experimentation may be part of it. But among orcas themselves, food sharing is already deeply important. It strengthens social bonds within the pod and helps younger whales learn how to hunt. So when an orca presents something and then lingers close by, seemingly waiting for a reaction, it feels impossible to ignore the social meaning behind the act. This is not just raw power moving through the sea. It is awareness. It is patience. And perhaps, in its own alien and beautiful way, it is an invitation to connect. At number 7, one tiny reef fish survives not by hiding, but by dancing. The blue-streaked cleaner wrasse performs a distinctive fluttering display to advertise its role as a cleaner, signaling to much larger fish that it is safe to approach. That dance says something crucial. Do not strike. I am here to help. The larger client fish then allows the wrasse to remove parasites from its body, gills, and even mouth. Both animals benefit. The big fish gets relief, and the wrasse gets food. It is one of nature's classic examples of mutualism. But what makes it truly remarkable is the trust involved. A fish large enough to swallow the wrasse instead holds still and allows intimate contact. And the wrasse, incredibly, appears to understand social consequences. If it cheats and bites healthy tissue, clients may avoid it later. In other words, even on the coral reef, reputation matters. Respect is earned. Cooperation is remembered. At number 6, manatees reveal how gentle contact can be both moving and misunderstood. These slow, curious marine mammals sometimes appear to wrap their flippers around divers or swimmers in what looks exactly like a hug. But what we see as affection may actually be touch-based investigation or social behavior. Manatees are highly sensitive to physical contact, and they use touch to explore the world and communicate with each other. So the behavior is real, but its meaning is more complex than a simple human-style embrace. That matters, because in the United States, manatees are protected, and touching or disturbing them can be illegal. Conservationists warn that encouraging close contact may put them at greater risk, especially from boat strikes. Still, what makes these moments so powerful is the contrast between size and softness. Massive bodies drift through clear water with astonishing calm, showing us that gentleness is not weakness. Sometimes, it is simply another form of awareness. At number 5, the prairie dog gives us one of the most human-looking greetings in the animal world. Two individuals rise, approach, and touch mouths, sometimes even tongues, in what looks uncannily like a kiss. But inside a prairie dog colony, this behavior serves a serious purpose. Often called a greeting kiss, it helps individuals identify each other and determine whether the other belongs to the group. In colonies that may contain hundreds of animals, recognition is everything. It keeps order. It helps detect intruders. It maintains cohesion. And yet, the same gesture can suddenly turn tense. If one prairie dog does not recognize the other as a colony member, that brief greeting may escalate into aggression. So what looks sweet from a human perspective is actually part of a far more practical social test. Friend, stranger, or threat. In that tiny moment of contact, the colony decides whether peace will continue or whether conflict is about to begin. At number 4, koalas remind us that closeness is not always about emotion alone. When two koalas press their noses together and sniff at close range, it can resemble a tender human gesture. But for koalas, smell is one of the most important ways of interpreting the world. They scent mark trees with glands on their chests, and they use close contact to gather information about other koalas, who they are, whether they are healthy, and what their reproductive status might be. So nose touching is better understood as scent-based communication than as a simple kiss. Still, that does not make it any less intimate. It is a low-stress social interaction that depends on tolerance, calm, and trust in shared space. And that is what makes it beautiful. In a quiet eucalyptus forest, with hardly a sound but leaves and breath, two animals come close enough to read one another through scent alone. It is not language as we know it, but it is still a conversation. At number 3, one of the most dangerous animals on Earth signals peace with nothing more than a breath. Tigers, along with some other big cats, use a sound called chuffing or prussing, a soft, breathy exhale through the nose that functions as a friendly greeting. Unlike a roar or growl, it does not threaten. It reassures. Tigers may chuff toward familiar adults, mates, cubs, and in captivity, even trusted caretakers. Mothers also use it to calm their young. That is what makes the sound so fascinating. In an animal built for overwhelming force, one of the clearest social signals is gentle, quiet, and nonviolent. It says comfort instead of dominance. It says calm instead of danger. And when you hear it in the presence of such immense power, the effect is unforgettable. The tiger does not become less formidable. If anything, it becomes more complex. Because behind the predator is a social being capable of reassurance, recognition, and trust. At number 2, joy arrives all at once. Guinea pigs and chinchillas express excitement in a behavior known as popcorning. Sudden jumps, twists, and bursts of movement that look like popcorn kernels exploding in a pan. It may seem chaotic, but it is usually a clear sign of happiness, stimulation, and contentment. Younger animals do it most often, though adults may still pop corn in the right environment. The movement is often paired with squeaks or soft chirps, making the emotional tone even clearer. This is not fear. It is not aggression. It is exuberance. It is the body becoming too full of energy to stay still. Similar displays appear in other small mammals too, suggesting that this kind of bouncing, bursting play may be a widespread expression of joy. And maybe that is why it feels so instantly relatable. Some emotions are so strong they do not need translation. They leap right out into the world. And at number 1, the chameleon proves that one of nature's most famous visual tricks is really a language. Many people assume chameleons change color mainly to blend in. Camouflage can matter, but according to the article, most color shifts are driven by communication and internal state. Using specialized skin cells called chromatophores, chameleons alter how light reflects from their bodies, creating changes in hue and brightness. Muted greens and browns may signal calm. Brighter reds, yellows, or blues can indicate aggression, dominance, or readiness to mate. Color can also help regulate body temperature by controlling light and heat absorption. In other words, a chameleon is not just disappearing into the background. It is broadcasting information, mood, status, intent, presence, on a still branch in warm sunlight. Without making a sound, the animal speaks in living color. And that may be the most remarkable message of all. In nature, even silence can be vivid. So the next time someone says the natural world is ruled only by violence, remember what you have just seen. A bow in the marsh, a gift from the sea, a dance on the reef, a breath from a tiger, a touch, a color shift, a leap of joy. Wild animals do not use our words, but they are constantly communicating trust, caution, tolerance, affection, and respect. And once you learn to see those signals, nature stops looking silent. It starts looking full of meaning. If this story changed the way you see wildlife, do 3 quick things right now. Hit like so more people discover it. Subscribe so you do not miss the next remarkable animal story. And share this video with one person who loves nature as much as you do. The more this channel grows, the more powerful stories like this we can bring to life.